Hello, good evening, and we are all welcome to this yet another interesting episode of our monthly lecture. I could see a comment from one of our senior colleagues. Honestly, we should have been starting by now, but the attendance is not too encouraging. So let's give ourselves some 5 additional minutes. We are hopeful that other colleagues would also join so that we can start. I can confirm we have our guest in our midst. He is in already. And so let's give ourselves 5 minutes so that we don't waste a lot of time and then we start. Thank you very much for your understanding and patience. Okay, so whilst we wait, we encourage all of us to also share the link on our various platforms, probably just to remind ourselves so that others would also join. Let's share on their various platforms. Thank you very much. All right, so good evening to all of us once again, and we are all welcome to this exciting episode. So today, we are happy to have one of our own with us as a guest, who is going to share his life experiences, his career life, professional life, and what he has been doing over the years, so that we can learn from him as we have been doing in previous episodes. Before I introduce him, I think we have some senior colleagues in our midst, which I want us to acknowledge them. We have the General Secretary of GAMS, Dr. Solomon Kwashi, on call. We also have Dr. Denise Edujesi, also the GAMS PRO also on call. My name is Benajan, and I'm doing the moderation together with my colleague, Emmanuel Salia. Ima, can you hear me, please? Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, Doc, I'm here with you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So I'll begin, and in the course of the discussion, Ima would also join so that we can have a fruitful session. As we go by, we would introduce other people who join the call. All right. So today, we have, as I said, we have one of our own. He's a medical laboratory scientist by profession. He has risen through the ranks as a medical laboratory scientist to a principal medical laboratory scientist at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Somewhere along his career life, he moved and joined the faculty, the Department of Clinical Microbiology at the University of Development Studies, UDS, in Tamale. Later, he also joined the Department of Clinical Microbiology and Immunology, School of Medicine and Dentistry at the CK Tedam University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Novrongo in the Upper East region. Currently, he is a senior lecturer in the same department in Novrongo in the Upper East region. He holds a BSc in Medical Laboratory Science at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science in Medical Microbiology from the University of Manchester in the UK. He also holds a PhD in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology from China. Currently, he is a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of the Medical Laboratory Science, where he belongs to the Faculty of Molecular Diagnostics and Translational Science. He has served in so many capacities in his career life and also professional life. He has once been the head of Department Clinical Microbiology and Immunology, School of Medical Sciences at the CK Tedam University in Novrongo. He has been a coordinator, and in fact, the list goes on and on. He has wide array of experiences in advanced study and then project monitoring and then evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, permit me to welcome our guest, Dr. Eugene D. Kubi. Forgive me if I crucify your name. When you come, you introduce yourself properly, your name, mention your name properly to us. So, Doc, for the purposes of this discussion, permit me to call you Eugene, so that I hope that is fine, Doc.
Oh, that is very, very fine. That is very, very fine. I actually prefer
right.
being called Eugene so that they don't murder the other names.
As I've done now. All right. Thank you very much, Eugene.
Yeah.
You,
Yes,
you
sir.
are most welcome. And thank you for your time and then your patience for joining this call. You are welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. So, okay.
No, continue, please.
Okay. All right. So, this call, we have senior colleagues. We also have some junior colleagues and students in our midst. So that is the audience that you have. I must let you know. We have invited you to share your experiences with us. So I don't know your initial comments, anything before we proceed.
Okay, I just want to thank you for the opportunity given me to share my, let me say, my life story as far as the profession is concerned. And this is a commendable program that will allow for others to also learn and then also give the opportunity for collaboration. Like you said earlier on, you mentioned some senior colleagues, and I'm grateful that along my line, they've also been part of my journey. And I'm happy they are here to listen to part of me that they have influenced, and for others to also learn from the mistakes we have made and then the successes, so that we all can take it on and then develop ourselves in the profession. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eugene. Okay, so we'll go straight to the point. Kindly tell us about yourself. Who is Eugene? I've read a couple of kind words about you running through your profile. Can you tell us who you really are? Your personal life, your educational life, your work life, and I'm also interested in a bit of research that you are currently doing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you once again. So you asked a question, who is Eugene?
Eugene, just let me interrupt you.
Okay.
For the many that doesn't know you, want you to kindly put on your video so that we can see your face and relate with you. Thank you.
I hope I'm visible.
Yes, very visible. All right, nice face.
Okay, okay. You've started admiring me. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead. All right, thank you.
Yes. You asked the question, who is Eugene? My full name, just to prevent you people from murdering it, is Eugene Dokutinge Kungbe. So I hail from a small town in the Upper West region, Jirapa to be specific. And I started my early life in Jirapa. So I started from the St. Jude's Primary School to St. Augustine's GHS, then proceeded to Wa, the Upper West Regional Capital, where I attended St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. So after completion, I did some bit of people teaching at the Ulu Senior Secondary School, now Senior High School, before joining the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I offered medical laboratory technology. After completion, let me call it national service and internship, I was posted to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, where I did my national service. And as you all know, employment is very difficult. After the national service, I offered myself for voluntary service, and at least we were giving some small amount on the table to survive. God being so wonderful, it was a great opportunity to be employed in the same facility, Tamale Teaching Hospital, in the laboratory department, where I served and then rose through the ranks to principal biomedical scientist. So professionally, I have worked, I can say, for about 8 years in the laboratory service. And then basically, out of this, I can say most of my training was in the microbiology department, where I met a lot of senior colleagues that helped in my training, among others. So I'm glad to mention one of my mentors over there, Professor Richard Dazi. He's one of my mentors, and then he actually engineered my academic journey. And we have the likes of Dr. Samuel Aqua. Both of them were seniors at Tech, and then we met over there. Among others, there are a couple of people that influenced my life over there. But I had the opportunity to get a scholarship to study at the University of Manchester, where I offered medical microbiology. And then I returned to the teaching hospital, and God being so wonderful, I got another opportunity and a scholarship to study biochemistry and then molecular biology at the Dalian Medical University in China, where I graduated in 2016. Let me say, research-wise, I'm just particularly interested in infectious diseases and then cancer biology. So most of my research work is tailored towards cancer biology, inflammation, and this infectious disease, and then their prevention. So recently, I just jumped into trying to find the communication between these communicable diseases and infectious diseases. So basically targeting diabetes and hypertension. And as part of my career life, I think I got some small grant in that regard, where I'm collaborating with some people in Nigeria to look at inflammation and then incident hypertension, and to look at how our diet can influence this inflammatory axis and promote the development of some of these chronic diseases. With regards to this research, we focused on hypertension. The work is not published yet. We are still in the manuscript preparatory stage. So that is what I can say, so that if there are questions, then we can delve more on that.
All right, thank you very much, Eugene. I think personally, you have a very beautiful story. I like your transition between the medical laboratory space now into academia. But in your account, I heard at a point you attended the minor seminary. Are you a Catholic?
Yes, I'm a Catholic.
And why not a priest? That's just by the way.
I missed the call. I missed the call. It was a missed call.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I have a very common questions that normally young professionals and their students always ask, and permit me to ask on their behalf. Why did you choose microbiology? For me, and for many, especially the young ones, we know from school we have 4 important areas in a medical lab. We have chem part, hematology, and so it's a common question that some people ask: which area should I go? And so what informed your choice? And there are students here who are asking this question: what should they consider in selecting, specialized areas to to consider in their career progression?
I'll just give my story and then not to influence, but this is what happens. And when I was in tech, at a point, I lost my dad, and it was not a good experience. And I failed, let me just use the right word, I failed microbiology. And it was not a good experience for me. I decided that I just don't want to even like anything about microbiology because it spoiled my academic records. But on going to TTH, Tamale Teaching Hospital, my major aim was just to specialize in biochemistry or hematology until an opportunity was given where I bring Professor Richard Dazi. He asked that I was in the biochemistry department, I should be moved to the microbiology department because at that point, a mentor, that was Dr. Samuel Aqua, had left for some program. It was at that point I realized that I really needed to learn a lot to be able to be competent in the job that I was given. So on daily basis, I have to call Professor Richard to help me out in the procedures. And he gave me one word: why are you afraid? You learn this in school, and this is the table. Whatever you are doing it rightly, but it's just that you are not confident. Only call me on difficult situations. And these are some reference books for you. Make sure you master the art and you'll be fine. I spent a lot of time trying to go through the basics again and to find out ways I can easily analyze these samples. And I found myself studying deeper into microbiology and liking the subject. I lost interest in the other preferred subject areas that I once was thinking of. Not that they are not important, but I found myself attached to microbiology. And the joy of just seeing an organism grow, you identifying it, then you are doing susceptibility testing and informing on decisions. It was just all fun. So I turned microbiology into a playground, mixing a lot of things to see whether I could get some other reactions different from what is normal. And my passion was just growing deeper and deeper into microbiology. And that is just how I got to like microbiology. And that influenced my decision to pursue this particular course of mine. In addition, the TB program, many laboratory people, let me just be sincere, were not interested in the TB microscopy because of the risks involved and then the way the samples were being processed. And they gave me the opportunity that I got the chance to train as a TB microscopist. And later on, as an assessor, that also gave me the opportunity to visit other facilities, assess them, and then also to give some recommendations as to how to improve upon their laboratory diagnosis as far as TB program was concerned. And there was also this program on the HIV drug resistance surveillance, which I was lucky to be incorporated into again. And that also exposed me to some of the techniques in the microbiology, further deepening my interest for the program. And then came this NAMRU 3 project by the US Naval Base. They came to TTH to establish links with us and then to study this acute febrile, acute diarrhea and then acute respiratory tract infections. And I was engaged as the laboratory focal person, and I gained a lot of insight into this sample collections and processing, and then to also meet some senior colleagues in Noguchi. And all this helped in positioning me to like microbiology more. So I can say that my interest was based on the experience that I got and the exposure that made me to shift my focus from the other areas to microbiology.
Any regrets in that area?
No regrets. Definitely no regrets. Sincerely, you can't do everything in life. If you are a master of everything, then you will be, in fact, you want to master everything, I think you will just know nothing. So it's better to focus on the one area. There's this integrated approach to handling everything that microbiology doesn't stand alone. Hematology itself doesn't stand alone. You don't have biochemistry, or let me say chemical pathology, also standing alone. You don't have this transfusion science or blood banking standing alone. Histopathology, you don't have it standing alone. So the laboratory section is an integrated one that all departments will definitely depend on each other. And whatever be the case, the basis that we have, having training in all these areas and then going into one area, it helps. And that calls for the need to collaborate within the various departments, as it will enhance our understanding of a lot of cases that are before us, and it will inure to the benefit of the patient and to the community as well. And that is usually our target. And then, as our motto we usually say, service to humanity. That is what we should always be targeting. That is not to ourselves, but as far as we have this integrated approach, that in the long run, humanity is served. That should be the hallmark. So no regrets.
All right, thank you. I have
Yeah.
two other important questions.
Yes.
And I'll later on I'll invite my colleague, as I said. Eugene, you know what? In your account, I'm learning one thing from you. One important thing, and it has to do with mentorship. You know, you have mentioned several names in your career and your professional life. At a point in your lab, when you had challenges, you had to go and call on somebody who challenged you that, hey, you can do it. So do it until you have a much bigger challenge, then you invite me. And you did it. Where you stand, I know you are a lecturer. A lot of students are passing through your hands. And so, yes, definitely you'll be mentoring students. But beyond that, and with your experience in practice in the laboratory, don't you think that it is time that you have to institute, some proper and a very robust mentoring program or scheme that will tailor specifically towards the young ones and even others who may need it? Because this is the reason why I'm saying that. Because I have realized that it is through that mentorship that probably you were shaped well, and of course you have been able to stand on your feet up to this time. As a professional and as a professional body here, I'm talking by extension, GAMS and its members and their stakeholders, including you. Do you agree with me? And what's your opinion? What do you think that we can do to be able to also support the younger ones that are coming?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. Mentorship. Sincerely, mentorship is everything in life. Let me just use this story. If you've never been to a place and you want to go there, the best is to ask questions about someone who has been to the place. It makes your journey very easy. And then when you get there with the guide given, you find your life comfortable. If you want to do it by yourself, you may succeed, but the challenges you are going to meet on the way, they are going to be somehow. In TTH, we have one medical doctor, and then who, should I say, also specialized in laboratory science, Professor Dr. Juventus Ziem. When he came into the laboratory as the head, at the time we were all growing, he called me and asked that he realized laboratory people, we are just intelligent, but we are wasting our life just being happy analyzing samples. There's a lot of data. Is it not possible that we can use this data to practice? And that can also guide our ways of doing things. And in a way, we can improve upon some of the mistakes and improve on the diagnostic challenge.
Eugene, kindly unmute and then kindly unmute it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so like I was saying, at a point at TTH, there was this Professor Juventus Ziem. He was once the head of department at the time. So he called me and then asked that, look, laboratory, there's a lot to be done in the lab. And he has seen a lot of data that can inform upon our daily activities. But we are just happy analyzing samples and writing results. And he thinks that if we institute some mentorship program, it's going to be of great benefit to us. So we started these presentations that allowed for us to take challenging topics. And it was always held on every Wednesday that you present to your faculty, let me say your other laboratory members. And I think it helped that if we have such activities going on, it will allow many people to see the laboratory results they are producing as data that they can easily analyze and synthesize, not only to publish, but to inform on humanity as in improving diagnostics and other things. And going to Manchester, I got this opportunity of seeing a mentorship program where you are assigned to some senior colleagues and they have a path for you. Not that they just determine it on interactions with you. You tell them your experiences, your challenges, they give you tasks. And it was also a great opportunity that I can say influence on my success in life. Going to UDS, I introduced that same document that I got into the medical school. And then it was made a policy where students are assigned to lecturers to guide their path and throughout their program from year 1 up to the final year. So I agree with you that mentorship is key in the laboratory profession. Not only that, but in all aspects of life. Personally, spiritually, and everything, you will need somebody as a guide, as a father, and as a mentor. Coming to CKT, we just started a BSc Medical Laboratory Program. And as part of the mentorship program that we want to establish, we want to create the semblance of what happened in Manchester. And in addition to that, belonging to the association is a form of mentorship because you meet seniors you meet juniors, and all of them will influence your life in one way or the other, directly or indirectly, which also serves as mentorship, because you learn from their successes and their failures, and it guides your way of doing things. So I agree with you that we should all make conscious efforts to put down some, like you use the word, a robust system to make it something that we can document, not just the daily one of interacting and learning, but once this documentation is in place, it will guide the professional development in general.
All right, thank you very much, Eugene. So I will revisit. Once you agree with me, I will come back to it again. So maybe you can be thinking about it. At the end of the session, I'll come back to you for some recommendation. I know that the General Secretary, Dr. Kwashi, is here. Something that you recommend that as a professional body, we could also institute together with your support and other stakeholders and see how workable it could be for us. Now, my last question. Eugene, I have made some observations. We have been doing this lecture for some time. And apparently, a lot of people that we are guests share similar characteristics with you, which is people will go through the ranks in practice as a medical laboratory scientist, then at a point, they divert into academia. Your situation is no different. But today, I want to ask you, I don't really have a problem with people leaving. I mean, advancing themselves and then leaving. But normally, when they have acquired all these skills in the lab and they have become more experienced and then competent, when they go, I know the work in academia is too, it's very great. But when they go, normally they don't, I may be wrong anyway, they don't look back in a sense that they don't really or closely associate themselves so much with the profession. I agree that you're a member of the you're a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College, which by extension also belongs to the profession. I agree, but we don't actively see, for example, your experience in research. Going through your profile, I've realized that you have very good experience in project design and the grant writing. Okay, these are skills that I believe that some of the youngsters need, those who are also starting, their career life and all that. But normally, we don't see, like I said, I may be wrong, but my observation is that we don't normally see the comeback. Do you also share similar observations? And if my observation is true, what do you say about it? What can we do to make the whole profession and the life very good for all of us, as a way also projecting our professional body?
Okay, thank you for the question. What you have observed is right. You are absolutely right. Most of us, when we get to the apex, we venture into academia. But let me say that for laboratory quality management, education is part, education and training. And for the profession to grow, we will need to have this integrated system whereby we have the people in academia, the people in the profession, sharing their ideas to see this vision to come to reality. Now, the thing I have observed is this: there is that the link between the professional practice and academia is very weak. It's very, very weak. When you find yourself in the academic practice and you are going to the professional practice, remember that in quality management, you need to be assigned to be able to perform certain functions. And if you are not assigned and you find yourself there, despite your experience, you are not contributing to that quality practice. And that is where the link is broken. Other professional bodies recognize this, and they are able to integrate the professional practice and the academic practice, whereby someone can leave the professional practice and get to the academic practice and is recognized as such. And someone from the academic practice to the professional practice and is recognized as such. And this has to do with policies that, look, I am working in CKT. I can go to Bolga Regional Hospital at any time, but there should be some form of, say, documentation that when I come there, I should be accepted to work as part of the system. If you turn it around, if you are also leaving the professional practice to come and then share your experience in the academic practice, you cannot just also do that. There's the need for that documentation for you to be able to do this particular thing. But I see it easier for those in the professional practice to be integrated into the academic practice because we can give part-time appointment and with conditions. But the other way around is usually very difficult. Now, when you find yourself not having any assigned duty, then it can also compromise on the, let me see, the policies and then the work practice, apart from just being friendly and interacting with them. But if these things are taken into consideration, I think we can build a very robust system that will see the profession actually grow stronger and stronger. So I think that there's the need, for example, for the Allied Health Professionals Council or GAMS to find this particular integration. It's not just for monetary gains, but for people in academia to be able to be part of the professional practice and for people in the professional practice to be part so that we can train our people, give them mentorship. And this is just the observation I have, and that is the experience that I have to share. One of the things I did in the development of this program is to develop the semblance of an industrial attachment, but I call it hospital-based education and service, where students will necessarily have to go to the hospital, interact with the superiors there, go through the laboratory training. And in doing so, these facilities will have to be recognized by the institution. Invariably, there has to be that particular agreement between the university and the institution. And this is just, in a way, trying to bridge that particular gap. That once you are recognized that you are part of training the students in this COIN program, hospital-based education and service, then it is easier for us to also get there and be integrated into the system. And if it works very well, then it can be, should I say, something that we can look at to make the system work, and we merge the two and make the chain stronger and link, so that this particular experience will be a thing of the past one day.
All right, thank you very much, Eugene. I've really taken notes, and I know GS on call and has also taken notes. Maybe the discussion shouldn't end here. You talk about policies and then, you know, putting some bridges so that people could easily cross to other areas. All right, so at this point, I would invite my colleague, Ima, if you can hear me, you can kindly take over. Let's have some brief interaction with him. Then we open the floor for others to also join. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Senior Bernard, for the opportunity. Thank you to GS for also bringing me on board. Before I start with my questions, with permission from my senior colleagues, I would like to also acknowledge the presence of the Greater Accra Chairman of GAMS, Dr. John Tesenu. He's also here with us. Eugene, I would like to say this. In 2012, when I wanted to go to the university, my dream was to read optometry. That was what I wanted to read. Fortunately for me, my elder brother was serving as a nurse at Tamal Teaching Hospital and had known Eugene because they had done medical screening together before. So he asked me to contact Eugene because he has read medical laboratory science and he'll be able to advise me between the two. By then, he was in Manchester University. So I got in touch with him on Facebook and he responded, and I really loved it. And that really shaped my life. He gave me the pros and cons and then advised that I go for the medical laboratory program. And I don't regret reading it. So I would say thank you very much, Eugene, Dr. Kungbe, for such a guidance. And fortunately, I met your mentor at UCC, Prof. Ephraim, and he also really shaped my life in all areas. So before I start, let me take you some few steps backwards. You, from your intro, you made us know how you didn't like microbiology because of certain issues. And then when you got to TTH, you were being challenged to do or to undertake laboratory testing in that department. You now had the opportunity to go back to school to read your master's. I would like to know, at what time, as a biomedical scientist at TTH, influenced your transition to academia?
So, when I was in TTH, sincerely, I never wanted to even go to school again. I was never interested in education until Prof. Ephraim will tell me that, look, don't let this be your end. There is a lot. And at that time, he was doing his PhD in tech. So there were a couple of times he will pick samples, analyze, and then as he's discussing, I see it to be strange. Then I got interested. And I remember one day he was with Williams Egbu. He's also a senior in the laboratory fraternity, and then a pastor. I just asked, what does it take to go for higher education? I got a very funny response, not from Prof. Ephraim, but from Williams. Williams said, for you to advance yourself, buy a laptop. So I asked, what is the use of a laptop? He said, please, you asked me for a guide, and I'm telling you, buy a laptop. I went home, slept over it, and I got some money from medical screening. So I went to Williams and handed over some money and said, I want the best of laptops. I don't want any by hand laptop. I just want the best. So he asked me, are you sure you really want the best? I said, yes. I don't know anything about laptops, but I remember as at that time, it was somewhere 2010, he went and bought me a Toshiba i5 and some specs, 1 terabyte and all those things. The only thing I was using that laptop for was to just gather movies hang it in my bag, music, play, and that was all. So one day he called me again and asked, what do you use the laptop for? I said, movies and music. So what was the question you asked me? So I said, I can't remember. So why did you buy the laptop? I said, well, I wanted to go to school. So if you want to go to school, it's not movies, it's not music. Get to the internet and search for schools. Learn about their application procedures, what they require, and try to start doing something. Then I started visiting some websites and trying to find out the requirements. Then I realized that, look, for you to do masters, you must have a proposal. And for me, I developed my first proposal on Campylobacter infections among children. And I think I applied to Tech, and I wasn't successful the first time. I applied to Legon. When I got there, I was not successful. I was asked to change to virology. So I said I was interested in bacteriology. They said it was full. So I got back to TTH. But in doing all this, I started applying to some foreign schools. It's very funny. I support Arsenal, that's my team. But one day I just started typing Arsenal University. I didn't see anything. Liverpool University, something pop up. Manchester University, something pop up. So I just started applying to these universities and then requesting for recommendation letters, traveling to Kumasi for these recommendation letters, among others. So I can say my passion for football made me to know about Manchester University, Liverpool University, because the University of Manchester has a name linked to the team. And that is how I got to know about Manchester and then I applied. So I think my interview at Legon made me to apply for GET-FUND scholarship, and lucky enough, I was successful. So I will say that life as a journey is funny. There are certain things that will make you do certain things without knowing. And it's in seeing Prof. Ephraim in the lab doing research, talking about research, and talking about higher education that I got interested. And in getting interested, I asked questions on how to go about it. And I got a very weird answer, and which actually influenced my application process and my preparedness for the academia. So I can say this is how I got interested in academia and going further in my education. Just seeing people around, admiring the way they do things and asking questions how it is done and being guided to do exactly that.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm also glad to learn that you support the best team in London. I'm also a Ghana. That's fine. So Dr. Kungbe,
Yeah.
based on what you said, I would like to know what advice then do you have for young professionals that are considering further studies abroad or in Ghana? And then what will be your advice to them in choosing between academia, research, and professional practice?
Let me start that for you to be somebody in life, whether professionally or you want to go into the academic practice, in everything you do, you need to have certain things in you. Number one, you have to let humility be your hallmark. You have to be humble enough to ask for help. You need to be humble enough to anybody you meet, whether you think you are higher than the person, whether you think you are co-equals. This must be a hallmark. And this humility will enable you to seek for help. And in trying to seek for help, that is where you get a lot of questions that are bothering your mind answered. Linked to this humility, you need to have this thing in you, respect. No matter the background of the person, no matter your makeup, no matter who you are, make respect also a hallmark. In addition to this, you need to be patient and determined. It's not every time you want something that you will definitely get. Like people say, God's time is the best. Be patient enough that when things are not working the way you plan, still be humble and respect the natural process. One day, the patience will yield results. And be determined. Growing up as a child, we're all falling. You fall many times trying to walk from crawling. But I can say now we've mastered the art of walking. And if I ask all of us here, none of us can remember the last time we stumbled compared to growing up. It's because we are determined in our path, trying to find a way to enhance our life unknowingly. If we apply the same thing, this is what I want to be. What do I need to get there? Be determined to get there. Plan yourself. And no matter the failures, don't give up. Try and pick yourself up. Life is full of ups and downs, and that's what makes it beautiful. You learn from the ups, you learn from the downs. So I think with this humility, respect, patience, and determination, you can do anything. Now, whether you are in the professional practice, you are in academia, or you are into research, there is one thing that is common. We all will have to solve problems in life. And that brings us back to asking questions, finding solutions to the problems. And that calls for this integration of all these fields, that whether you are in the professional practice, you still teach, because there are people that you are mentoring, and on daily basis, you tell them that, please, what you are doing, if you do it this way, is going to be good. If you do it this way, is better. This way is not the best professionally. This is not the best of practice. It's teaching. When you look through your data from patients and realize that there is a particular pattern, and you tell your colleagues that of late, I've seen that a lot of people are coming with fever, or I am diagnosing a particular kind of infection a lot of times, then your colleagues decide to talk about it, and it gets to the ears of the public health people or other people. That is research. The difference is that you have not documented it, you just observe and you pass it verbally. So the person who is into research will pick it, try to synthesize, summarize it, and find meaning into it. Though you had meaning into it, it is not on paper, but that is also research. In the people who do research, they will focus on picking this data, putting it together, and finding meaning. So they decide to focus. Those in the academia focus more into the teaching and the research aspect. So you see that in all these phases that you have mentioned, it's integrated. And we all do these works without knowing that we are doing it. It's just that in academia, you are assigned to teach and do research and do community service. When you are into research, you are also teaching because your findings will influence on the academic practice, will influence on the content they have to give to these professionals and to the students. Your findings will influence on diagnostic approaches to the professional. And because it's integrated, we need to find a way, like the first person questioned, to integrate this. Because if we want to put them alone, it is not going to be the best for us. So the advice is that in your daily professional life, as we all started, there are a lot of observations that you will encounter, that you need to ask questions, and in your own time, trying to answer those questions. And invariably, you are doing research. As it stands now, there's this, the professional practice with the fellowship program that is introduced, whereby you can enter into the fellowship program and professionally become a specialist, then you can get to the fellowship. When you get into this practice, you'll be trained professionally, but definitely you enter into research, whether it is clinical research or anything, but it is definitely research. You will find yourself doing the role of research. You will find yourself in academia. When you venture into the academic aspect, going for master's and PhD, you find yourself in the research. You find yourself in academia. So it's all integrated. Wherever you find yourself, you are playing these roles. But there's the need for that collaboration and integration so that we can all improve upon the practice or laboratory science. So the advice is that wherever you find yourself, use the opportunities that you have there to grow yourself. But do not forget that in the growth that you are seeking, you still have a link to the academic pattern, and then you have the link to the professional path. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kungbe. That is inspiring. And similar words were shared with me by Dr. Francis Kwechi Enchi few days ago. And I'm happy you have re-echoed that to all of us here. From your CV, I have observed that you have published a lot of papers in various fields, from microbiology to immunology. I would like to personally know, and I think my colleagues here will share same with me, that we want to know what strategies, do you employ in managing multiple research projects? And what advice will you give to early career researchers like us, like someone like me, in this competitive field of medical laboratory science? Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear. I think Eugene's network may be failing him. Let's give him some time
Yes.
to I can see some hand up. Kwamina, we will conclude very soon and open the floor so that you have your time to. So kindly hold on. We will invite you very soon.
So Dr. Eugene is back. Hello, Dr. Eugene. Oh, he's gone. Hello, Dr. Kungwe.
Okay, so in order not to waste the time, we can take the questions people have. Then when he comes back, we can ask on their behalf. If that, we could also use the time as waiting for him to also get some feedback from our colleagues on the platform as to how they've seen the program so far, what modifications they think we can also bring as we wait for him. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So, Sina Bernard, take it from here.
All right, thank you very much, my brother. So once you wait for Eugene to reconnect, I can see some other senior colleagues. I can see Dr. Christopher Nkrumah on call. Doc, you are welcome. I can also see Dr. Francis Kwachi Entry. I can also see Enoch Banye. Enoch is the Bono East GAMS Regional Chair. Then I can also see Samuel Apia also on call. Seniors, you are all welcome. Very soon, we will open the floor so that you can also share some few thoughts with us. Kwamina, I can see your hand up. Kindly unmute and then let us know your consent. If it's a question, we will note it so that when Eugene comes, we will put it.
The problem is that I'm using my phone and I am unable to change that. So kindly just pardon me. Let it be there. Can you hear me?
I think we've heard you, so we'll try and lower the hand for you. So
yeah, thank you very much.
Dan, kindly lower it for him. He said he has a challenge.
Like I said, we have some senior colleagues in our midst. The floor is open now so that you can share your thoughts. Okay, so Eugene is back. All right, Eugene, you are welcome.
Thank you. And then sorry, our light just went off and then came back, and then the internet connection got interrupted.
All right. So,
yes.
So Dr. Eugene, a quick one before we open the floor for members to also ask their questions. I think this is my last but one. I was saying that from your CV, you have published widely in various fields from microbiology to immunology. I would like to know, which I think my colleagues here would also want to know, the strategy you have employed in managing multiple research projects, and what advice do you have for we early career researchers, such as someone like me, seeking to advance in this field of medical laboratory science?
Thank you for the observation. But if you observe, I'm not a very good publisher. So there is one thing that we all need to learn, that the power of teamwork. If you have a team, like people will say, together, each of you will achieve much. The strengths of one will become, the weakness of one will become the strength of the other. And in building the team, you will have people with various interests. For example, we supervise a lot of students, and in supervising them is a form of mentorship. So we put these students work together, and as a team, we discuss to see how we can inform on the global world about some of these research findings, and how we can also influence on policies, education, and training. So in so doing, you find some of these publications some of these manuscripts being accepted, and that is how you grow. You can never do it alone. If you want to sit in your corner alone, it is not possible. For example, if you are in Kolebu microbiology unit, and then somebody is in TTH microbiology unit, somebody is in Konfanochi microbiology unit, somebody is in UCC, Cape Coast microbiology unit, you can come together and decide that, look, I want to take all swabs that are brought for investigation for wounds, infections. Then you pool it together. Assuming in Kolebu, you have got only 200. In TTH, you have 200. In Konfanochi, you have 200. In Cape Coast, you have 200. When you pull it together, you are getting about 1,000. It makes scientific power to have larger numbers to talk about than to have a smaller number to talk about. And this brings the importance of teamwork and collaboration, which within the laboratory fraternity, I think there's a lot that we can do if we focus on this. So I can just say that's the secret: teamwork, and the position I have supervising students, where we are mentoring them and then having data that we can replicate at various sections and pull it together and put it forward. So this is one of the things that I do. The other question you asked is microbiology, immunology, and then others. Like I've been saying, there's this integrated way of doing things. If you say immunology, and I will say basically how your body will respond to these infectious agents. What are these infectious agents? Then you talk about bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. Then you are studying this bacteria, and the essence of it is to improve humanity, and the aspect of it is how the body will respond to it and how you will try to use the bacteria, virus, or fungi beneficially to improve your immune system so that you'll be stronger. And if it happens not to be so, then in the disease stage, how will you enhance the body? So you see, it's integrated, that when you go one arm, it looks incomplete. But the best is to put the whole picture, and it gives more meaning than talking about one arm. It is expensive, but that is the best way sometimes to talk about a whole picture rather than talking about a side story.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Eugene. So from what you have said, I think that that is very laudable, but then don't you think that issues of quality control may may make data that is collected from different facilities in this manner a challenge for publication? But that is another issue probably in future we can discuss. But then it's food for the mind to think through. Maybe in our personal conversation, I would engage you more. But then finally, many have the perception that the medical laboratory, the Doctor of Medical Laboratory Science program is not well structured. They argue that considering what is done in the States, instead of doing 6-year program and coming out with, let's say, a professional doctorate, why not add other extra programs like MBA, 2 years to a 4-year medical laboratory program. So they graduate with MBA, as well as the Doctor of Medical Laboratory Science. What is your take on this? Briefly, in 2 minutes, if you can share your opinion in 2 minutes.
Emmanuel, you you want to give me troubles. So sincerely, I welcome the idea of the Doctor of Lab Science, but at a personal level, I think that we should have structured it into 2 phases. That number 1, you complete with the BSc and you have your degree. Then number 2, you enroll into the Doctor of Lab Science, where you can have this dual certification, where the professional council will have to come in plus the university, then you offer this certificate. The third aspect is that I think when you get to the professional level, we can integrate it, like you said, to other career programs. That if you put the MBA or you put a master's program attached, the person can come out with 2 theses or dissertations, one at the clinical level and one at the research level, so that you award the person Doctor of Lab Science and the person has specialized in one of the areas in the laboratory science or be it administration. This is the way to go for me personally, so that we sell more the Doctor of Lab Science, because as you come out, you have got the master's attached, dual certification. It's done somewhere and it's done elsewhere. If others are doing it, we can try it in Ghana. And I think we will venture and see how the council will support us, how the association will support us. And then we see how GTech will also see to this way of thinking. Once it's done somewhere, we can usually cite it as a case. But you have the ideas, but the regulating authorities also have their different views. Because we all witnessed how they fought the Doctor of Lab Science and it came to be. So it's better we venture into it to improve upon the system. Other professional bodies are bringing this integration. And I think we can also learn from them and then do the same thing. So I share your views that we need to enhance it. But for now, we need to make the Doctor of Lab Science a priority and enhance it with the other additional courses.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kungwe. To my senior colleague, Bernard, I think I'm done, but then I would like to acknowledge the presence of Usam, Senior Usam. He's also here with us, as well as Razak. He's also here with us. Thank you very much. Over to you, Senior Bernard.
All right, thank you very much. I think that we've had fruitful discussion between you and myself. So at this point, we would open the floor for questions, contributions. Let's make interaction with Eugene. Kwamina, I can see your hand raised up again.
Thank you, Bernard.
Okay.
And thank you, Eugene, very much for your impressive presentation. I have just one question for you. I want to know, did you have a postdoctoral training after your PhD? And if so, for how many years? And if not, do you think your 3-year PhD training alone has given you the necessary training and skill set to make you an established researcher to such a point that you can consider yourself as a real mentor in science? Or if you have a postdoctoral fellowship, would you take it? Thank you.
Okay, Pamina, thank you for the question. I had the opportunity for postdoctoral training, but I was also given an offer in UDS, so I decided to come home. But that notwithstanding, postdoctoral training gives you ample time to do more research, and it will really improve upon your research capacity and capabilities. So to answer your question right away, I do not have it. And the next question is whether it would have influenced my way of things if I had it compared to this. Let me just assume that if I had done the postdoctoral training, I have a belief that it would have influenced my research better than now. And I would have really been a better mentor, let me put it that way, than I am today. Because it offers you the opportunity to work with other mentors, senior mentors in a very focused environment than coming into our setup where you are teaching, and as part of your teaching, you are supposed to do research and other things. But postdoctoral training is just tailored on research. So I recognize the impact of postdoctoral training comparably to someone who just leaves that particular field of a PhD, and then without that further training, then you come to the field. Any additional training you have will always make an impact, be it 3 months, 4 months. Every experience in your life, it counts. And I believe that the more experience you have, the better person you will be. So that is how I will approach your question.
All right, thank you very much, Eugene. So the floor is still open. You can also put your questions in the chat. We will read for Eugene to respond. Let me quickly go through the chat and see if I have any. All right, Dr. Kwashi.
Senior.
Hello, Dr.
Senior.
Okay, so at this point, I think I would invite you, General Secretary, to also make some comments or questions or contributions to the discussion, whilst you wait for others to come up with questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the good work being done. I want to testify that the last mentorship program helped me. I'm currently in Nigeria, and I use the knowledge from that program to reshape my CV. Fortunately, before I came here, they requested for my CV, and I was able to produce it in real time. And the comments when I came here, they were really impressed about how I structured my CV. And thanks to this program, I was able to learn from Emmanuel the last time, and it helped me in shaping my CV. And so I think it's a good program. Somebody will benefit from it one day, another person will benefit from it another day. I also want to commend the team behind working, especially yourself, Emmanuel, and the PRO for supporting this call. So, Eugene, one of the things I got from your presentation is that you seem to be having most of the opportunities, and those opportunities led to where you are today. What is so special about you?
Thank you, Doctor, for the question. I am just an ordinary human being. I'm not special. We are just all the same. It's just that sometimes you find yourself in some environment that gives you some opportunities compared to other people in some other environment. So, for example, finding myself in TTH and then working in that particular environment made me to meet some people that influenced me. The likes of Prof. Ziem, the life of Ephraim Dazi, and then there are a lot, even among our peers. These are seniors. We have people who were our peers. We roam, socialize, among others, and in socializing, they tend to be your guide, telling you this you did is not good, this you did is not right. And if you are humble enough to accept suggestions and then take all into consideration, then anything you see, you just give it a try. You don't know. I remember one day, Dr. Ken Stego, who was the CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital, he just gave me a statement: never be afraid to apply for anything. And asked me a question: do you understand probability properly? So I said no. So, well, just get your name into the box. When they dip the hand in, you don't know whether you are the one going to be picked or not. And this is the problem of most of us. So from then, anything I see, I put my name into the box to see whether I will get it. And I cannot say in most of the cases. In some of the cases, I succeeded. In most of the cases, I never even got response. But I see it as an experience, because in applying for an opportunity, it's an experience you learn. And when there's another one, you base on the failed experience and improve upon it. And that is just the whole thing. So I won't say I'm special. I would just say is the environment and the people you interact with and how you see those people and interact with them. When they see opportunities, they tell you, then you try. Many can also have the opportunities without telling you. You will never know. You will never try. Some people also see the opportunities, they don't try. So I can say it's in trying that I got the answers. And that doesn't make me special. I believe if people try, definitely there will be answers.
All right, thank you. And so I would ask my final question for your comments and also request two things from you. So I'll put the request first. As part of this program, the team is trying to look at a comprehensive mentorship academy, so that this thing will not be just a monthly presentation. It will be a platform where we can have people who are identified, who we can get people to mentor them and also lead them in their professional career. And so I'll request you, after this program, we'll contact you for that document and also engage as to how we can improve it or adopt it for the benefit of the profession going forward. I am a product of mentorship, and it has benefited me. Some of the things I learned, some of the things I do now is because people saw the interest in me, developed it. And sometimes I even make money out of it. So I think what you spoke about is a good thing. So we'll contact you to make input into that document, and we do it well. Yeah. The second issue is that program starts and they can be modified with time. So your personal opinion about the MLSD is a good thing. If we are talking about MLSD and MBA, if it's even not MBA, a post degree, a post first degree diploma in management that will equip the person with the degree, it is a good call. So we'll also try to engage you and see how we can in the curriculum.
Nigga!